What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cracker Hunters. Carolina Hitman.
I'm Anubis.
Today we're doing a comparison video on the newly released Alien Queen Maquette. She's going against her rival, the Alien King. So yeah, these are two massive statues that we're having to kind of sit side off a little bit because they're so big. Well, because what we're going to do now instead of rotating, we'll put side by side comparison pictures probably to make it a little bit easier for us, because it's hard to rotate both of these at the same time because they're so big. But
without knocking into each other.
Right. All right. So you want me to start, or you want to start? Okay. We're gonna go down the line. I'll start. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go down the line, far as paint, base, pose, things like that, and we'll decide a winner at the end. All right. So I'm gonna start off with the pose. I think for me, both of them do a good job of portraying motion in the statue itself. But for me, I think as far as the pose itself, I think the Alien Queen has the pose. I think the pose is a little bit more menacing and shows motion a little bit better on her statue than the Alien King.
See, I think I'm gonna have to disagree with that one. I think the Alien King shows a better motion pose. But I mean, I like their poses equally, to be honest. But I think the King shows more of a forward motion rather than her, because you see, let me explain why. You see these Xenos right here on the base of the Alien Queen, are standing still.
I got you.
All these Xenos are moving forward.
You know what? I have to change. Yeah, you're right. I have to. Yeah. Now that you bring that up, this is why I like doing a comparison video with Anubis, where we both go off of each other. You know what? I kind of actually have to agree with you, because
it's almost like she's defending and he's attacking. That's
a very good point.
That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I had to go with that too. Yeah, I think I forgot about the base. Yeah, because the smaller Xenos on the King portray that movement, because it looks like they're all getting ready to attack.
They look like they're about to just fucking unleash hell onto some
army. It's a Xeno, so they do that anyways. They do that waking up.
But it looks like they actually have a target, because it almost looks
like you're right.
They almost look like they're all looking the same way.
They're all focused on one objective right there. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so the pose.
Even these ones here in the back are looking at something.
Right. You know? So the pose itself, we're going to have to give to the Alien King. Now,
I still like both of them.
Right.
I still like the poses equally.
No, I see that, but I think the pose, as far as portraying motion and everything, you're right, is probably better on the King. So we're going to give this one to the King.
Okay.
All right. So
I can handle that.
So the next one is the paint, as far as the colors and everything like that.
The color scheme.
Just the paint overall.
Okay.
Now, I think the King has this one hands down. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, the paint application on the King is so much better, because and it's a little unfair to the Queen somewhat.
There's no reference for the King.
Right. It's really no, and so Sideshow got to do whatever they wanted. They got to really make him whatever really color they wanted to, and they were able to throw in a lot more greens and blues and reds, browns. Just he has a much broader color palette, and just the paint application overall is better.
It kind of looks like it changes
color. I know it does, yeah. Depending on what lighting you hit, that color almost looks like it changes. Now, if this had been a solid black with some blue, more solid black with some blue highlights, I probably would have chosen the Queen.
Right.
Because the Palisades one, I have the Palisades Alien Queen 2. Me and Anubis were talking about this before the video. That black makes it look so much more glossy and shiny.
More wet.
Yes. And they did it right by just making the Queen black, but doing some highlights with the.
I don't think they highlighted it with a blue.
No, they didn't highlight it with a blue.
They just highlighted it with like a
lighter
black.
Yeah, exactly, like a
gray.
Exactly, but it worked for that one. But and plus there were some things that I didn't like. Me and Anubis didn't like on the paint application, as far as the sloppiness of the of the face huggers, her nails. I don't know why I keep doing this whenever I'm talking about
because it makes you think of the T-Rex. All the dinosaurs fear the T-Rex.
It's just that the paint application was a little more sloppy on the Alien Queen than the Alien King, because the Alien King, man, to me,
it's immaculate, dude.
It's immaculate. It's oh man, like the Alien Queen for me was one of Sideshow's easily for me maybe top 20, top 10 statues they've ever come out with, because of the level of detail and the paint and everything like that they did on the King, and not even just the King, the paint application on the Xenos in the King's version are better than the ones on the Queen's.
I think honestly, I think you have a lot more freedom when it comes to the Xenos on the King statue, because they're the stalker kind, and we don't really see them.
Well, yeah, because these are more the warriors.
Yeah, I mean, we see those in every movie,
right?
Except for the first one. The first one, we got the stalker Xeno, and really all we got to see was kind of just little glimpses of him. We didn't really get to see him, you know,
and for those who
his magnificence, you know.
And for those who aren't clear, like the warriors have that ridge across the top of their head. The stalkers really do not. They have more of a smooth, smooth head.
It shows them that they're a hunter.
Right.
You know, I think that's what it is. You know, that smooth head.
I think these should be classified as the drones, and these should be classified as the warrior, which I think they are. Because
I don't know. I thought these were classified as stalkers because where they hunted individually.
Maybe
We're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, we are. But I do, like I said, I think the paint application goes to the King.
I think I'll agree with you on that. I think, I'm gonna have to agree with that. But you know, we're not saying anything bad.
No, negative.
I think it's just a difference of opinion, dude. Because I'm kind of digging like the little bit.
Right. But even you gotta admit, the King's version is better.
I think, like we were saying earlier, I think it's because there's no reference.
Right.
So it's almost not even really fair.
Yeah, and it's really not. But at the same time, you know, if they had done a better job on the paint, I think it would have popped a little bit more, and probably would have maybe turned it to her favor a little bit.
Yeah, but maybe like just did the straight black with
with blue highlights,
or just the gray highlights.
Oh yes, exactly. And like I said, just the King, man, his colors pop, and it pops right out at you, man. That's why man, this has been one of my favorite statues. This is probably one of my top 2 statues that I have in my collection because of how good Sideshow did that paint on the Alien King.
He looks so fucking cool, man.
He does. All right. So now here comes the real debate. The base. The base. Now, this one is tough. Now, we're not going to include the paint applications. We're just talking about right now the look of the base. As far as the
dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to exclude the paint itself. We're going to just talk about how the base looks.
Right.
This one is tough.
It really kind of is.
It really is, because I do like the Queen with the eggs and the warriors underneath there.
She kind of had to have the eggs in there.
Right, and not even just that, the industrial look from LV 426 that they had on there on that platform, like one of the platforms that was in there.
The great flooring.
Yeah, exactly. And they did an amazing job on the great flooring. I'll give them that.
Even in some spots it looks melted.
Right, exactly.
You know.
But the King, man, he has that. It looks like a hive of hornets getting ready to come out and fuck you up.
That's what I think we were saying that too earlier.
You're the one that brought that up before.
It does look like a wasp nest or a hornet's nest or something, man, because it just looks like they're about to fuck.
Oh, they are. And on top of that, they were able to fit so many Xenos, and I love the fact that it showed that they're coming out of the holes, and it just looked so well done. But at the same time, the Queen's, like, her base is still, I love her base because it shows the movie, like highlights the movie factor as far as the grading, the eggs and everything like that.
The industrial look just itself.
Right. It looked, like I said, minus the paint application and a few nitpicks that we had in our last video. Right. It's hard to decide which base is actually better. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the King's base better.
Well,
and the reason, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go. I want to hear your reason why.
Okay, for me, I like the King's base better because of the fact that there's so many Xenos coming out, and the fact that they were able to mimic sand so well on that base. Like it looks like
dirt.
It looks gritty and it looks like sand.
It even feels kind of like it.
It does, and it does. And the fact they were able to fit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Xenos and still did not lose any quality fitting those Xenos on that base.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why I would give it to the King. Again, this isn't a knock against the Queen, but just being able to fit so many Xenos, did not lose any quality, and the action pose of the base itself. You got Xenos reaching out, Xenos
crawling on the walls, coming out from the floor.
crawling over each other.
Yeah.
They just look like they're on a mission to destroy something.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact how they showed them coming out of their hive, looking like a hornet's nest or yellow jacket. I think yellow jackets are the one that comes from the ground.
Well, I don't know. I've seen wasps come from the ground too. So
either way, that's for me.
Bugs.
And plus, if you ever look on some of the videos of people pouring aluminum into ant nests and then taking it up, this is what that looks like.
Yeah.
The holes. It just looks like the holes. And it even looks like someone poured, like at the bottom of the base, it even looks like someone poured some aluminum in there and pulled it up.
That does look pretty cool.
And for me, that's why I got to give it the base to the King. It's just so much dynamic.
So much more
it really is.
Well, okay, now those are really great points, but honestly, I'm gonna have to give them equally. I mean,
that's fine.
The only thing that would put the King on top is the paint application, but we're not really going to talk about that. Honestly, I think that the base on the Queen, if you want a statue of aliens, then you want movie accuracy. You want something like that. I honestly, I love the industrial look, the grates on the floor, the eggs. I'm not a big fan of the gloss. Well, I'll be actually. You know what? I am kind of a fan of them putting the Xenos in because you had to have scale.
Exactly, and I think that's where both bases do a good job of putting something in there to give the scale of how big the King and the Queen actually are.
I honestly think that everything is great about the King statue because they had so much freedom. There's no reference,
and that's true, and it really is. There's a lot of truth to that statement. It really is.
Now, when it comes to the Queen, though, I think they did a great job replicating the movie scene.
I
think that was just an awesome job that they did doing that, replicating the movie scene. But honestly, like Carolina said, it is really, really kind of tough to pick.
It really is.
I don't know. Both of them got such cool points.
And honestly, I can even concede to that, and I can make it say it's equal.
Yeah,
like I say, I can even say that.
That's as far to her advantage as I can go as equal. I can't say she's better because it's not true.
Right.
But I can say it's closer to equal than it is, than one way or the other. I think they're pretty equally awesome.
Okay, and like I said, I can concede to that fact. Like I said, I prefer the Kings, but I can see anyone who would say, man, those are almost equal. Or even I can even see some people saying minus the paint, just the look of the base. I can honestly understand. Yeah, the concept. Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you. The concept of each one's bases, they are almost on equal footing. I have a personal preference for the Kings.
Oh, if we're going about personal preference, I'm taking the King.
Oh well. Well, I mean, it really it's personal preference no matter where we look at it because it's subjective.
There's cool things to look at on both bases.
It really is, and I wholeheartedly agree. There's something to catch your attention on both bases each. I mean, it really is. So I can honestly concede that it's almost equal. Just my personal preference, I'm choosing the King. For me,
if they would have portrayed it if they would have made the concept perfect, you would have to go with the Queen.
No, if they had done a better job on the paint application, I would have given it to the Queen. Even though we're not going off the paint, but deep down, my subconscious won't let me choose the Queen because of the paint defects, the paint application and everything. And I know we're not going off that, but even if we weren't, that dynamic pose that the King has just wins me over every time.
Right.
It really does. It's the dynamic pose of that base just wins me over every time I look at his base.
I think if they would have hit that nail on the head with the concept,
yes,
it would have won.
I agree. I would agree too.
Unfortunately, they kind of bent the nail on the head.
Right.
You know.
All right, so we got 3. So the last point is we're going to talk about overall, and we're going to throw everything in now as far as the overall statue. All right, so you want to go first or you want me?
All right, overall, you go first. I can't do it.
Overall, I'm picking the king. Far as his paint application was immaculate. The different colors they were able to put in there, the dynamics of his base, and just the look of all those Xenos crawling over each other and fighting to get to wherever they were going, them being able to just show the Xenos coming out of the holes themselves, like hornets.
Having a target.
Yeah, having a target to go to. And just those things for me, man, for me, the king, and I hate saying this because I'm such a fan of the Alien Queen in that movie, but for me, overall, the king has this hands down. Even if we just took away, even if we gave some of the points to the queen, overall, the king, hands down, is the better looking statue for me. I don't even, and for me, I don't even think it's a contest. And this is not a knock against the queen, because I enjoy looking at this statue. I enjoy it. It's a part of my collection, and I'm glad to have it. But overall, the king is the better statue, period, in my opinion.
So I'm gonna agree with you. I've only got one thing to say about the queen, rather than, I'll give the king the overall, the color, the paint application, the base, the dynamic pose. I still think the pose goes to the queen because of, I know I keep saying it, it's the movie accuracy on it. It just kind of tickles me a little on the inside. It hits that satisfaction point.
Right.
It's like taking a scene right out of the movie and putting it, in your collection.
And I'm telling you, man, just having them side by side really makes you look at them so much, man, because they are both good statues. Like I said, there's a few more faults to the queen, unfortunately. I wish they would have done a better job with some of the things.
I think they were trying to put too much into something too small, because when it comes to the base and stuff, you got the face huggers.
Right.
I wish they would have been able to do that better.
I wish if they weren't able to do it as well as it should have been, they should just left all of them closed.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. That's what, if for me, that's one of the main knocks against the base is the sloppy, I ain't gonna say sloppy, just sketchy paint job on a couple of the eggs where the face huggers are coming out. And this glop of whatever this is, this tar.
Right.
That's, like I said, those are the main knocks for me against the queen. And I wish
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I almost think it would have been better if they would have taken, left one open, but the face hugger be like riding on her crown or something.
I don't know, because
or kind of like riding on her arm or something. About ready to jump.
Or even not, even if that, or at least on the floor.
Right.
Not on the egg itself.
Yeah, and they probably could have done a better job if it would have not been on the egg.
And that's a fair point.
Because that comes with the molding. They're trying to mold it with the egg, and it just doesn't seem like that worked very well.
Right. And it pains me to give it to the king, because I think the queen is the greatest movie monster ever created. As far as the concept, when you see what went into actually creating the queen and realize that in Aliens, there's no CGI. They made the queen. Like, that's a actual, not prosthetic,
I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between her and the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
And that's fair enough, but she would destroy a T-Rex
No,
easily.
I'm just saying, the look of it, how cool it looks.
And well, I think for me, the reason why I give it, because the T-Rex has something to base it off of. It wasn't, that's scientific. They have science, fossils, everything. She is an originally created creature.
Idea,
exactly, by Stan Winston, the master of creature effects. We miss you, by the way. I wish you would. I wish you were still here.
I'm trying to think of monsters, man.
But I'm sorry, for me, the Alien Queen is the greatest movie monster ever created because of her look. And in the movie, just what the process they went through to actually create her and all the animatronics that went through it. She's the greatest movie creature I've ever seen.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of other movie creatures. I mean,
because
I can see where
because the Xenos were already top 5 creatures made, period, in any movie. And then you throw in the Queen on top of that, and a bigger, enhanced version of the Xenos. Sorry, you gotta give her the top spot.
I mean, I can see where she'd be in the top 5, but really,
for me, I'm just saying,
at, like all these movie monsters.
And you know, I've watched a lot of horror movies and a lot of movie monsters.
But I mean,
I just don't
got
see
the old school Mummy, Frankenstein, Wolfman.
She's the greatest. I'm sorry, she's the greatest movie creature ever created for me. Then it's subjective, but for me, there is no movie creature greater than the Queen. Just the amount of everything that went into creating her and them being able to achieve what they did in that movie. And like I said, the Xenos themselves were already top 5 creatures ever created. But then you get an bigger enhanced version and a meaner version of an already mean ass damn upset creature.
Yeah.
Sorry, she gets it for me. And that's why it pains me to see some of the flaws in her statue compared to the Alien King.
He could be a pretty menacing looking.
Oh, he is. Like he's like I said, if the statue itself, man, is so immaculate and beautiful, that's a work of art. I'm not saying the Queen ain't, but compared to him, it's just not close for me.
I think the only reason why the Queen isn't doing as well as the King is just because Sideshow had no reference. I mean, they may have had like a little bit of reference, like
with
one picture in a comic book.
And that's fair enough. And like I said, and I'm willing to accept that because he is right. They were able to take a lot more artistic liberty with the King.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that they should not have they should have not have tightened up the quality on the Queen. Because I'm gonna tell you right now,
I agree with you.
If the quality had been tightened up and the paint application had been perfect, there's no way I would have given it to the King. I would have given it to her.
Right. That's your favorite, your bias.
Not even just that. Like she's already almost on par with him, even with some of
her flaws.
Even with all her flaws on her statue, she's still almost on par with that statue.
In the same ballpark.
Exactly.
And that's not an easy feat, especially with this statue. I mean, this
right.
is probably one of the better ones. Sideshow.
No, like I said, he's top. For me, he's top. Maybe I'd say top 20.
Do you think almost like Prime 1?
Honestly, yes, I would say almost Prime 1 level of detail and paint application. This is one of the few statues that Sideshow has come out with where they got every aspect of this statue right.
I can see that. And
every aspect.
I can agree with that.
And I would challenge, and I know some people weren't able, that was one of the things, like the shipping process broke some of these pieces. So some of these people weren't able to get this one and see they saw the glory, but
see the magnificence.
Exactly, but it was broke, so it took away some of it.
That would kind of.
It would, and it would ruin everything about this statue getting it broken, everything. But if you were one of the few people who got a perfect piece where the paint application was good and nothing was broken, this is easily one of Sideshow's best statues that they've ever come out with. This is one of the few ones where I would put them on the same level as Prime 1 with this statue. They got everything right with it.
I agree.
Everything.
There's nothing you can bitch
you can't like, and that's one of the few things you can't knock this for anything. Like the base, the paint, the look of it. There's nothing you can knock about this statue at all.
There's nothing you can complain about.
Nothing.
It looks
cool. Fantastic.
It's awesome.
And you see the amount of emotion we're getting to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the Queen the same way, but they messed up so many they messed up in key aspects on the base and on her that I can't talk about her with the same level of enthusiasm as I talk about with the King.
Right.
And it pains me to say that because she's my favorite movie creature. That's what pains me right now. And like I said, and this is not saying this is some piece of shit statue that's horrible. No, they did a good job, but it should have been better. And the fact that the King was cheaper than her, that's what even makes it worse. He was cheaper than her.
He was cheaper because nobody fucking knows who it is.
But you know what? They sold out though. People bought it.
That's because it's cool.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the Look at all
I bet you would look it up.
But look at all the Court of the Dead statues. These are original pieces, with the exception of maybe I think Shard and Cleopsis. Every one of these, especially the older ones, have sold out because it's not about knowing who they are. It's about the quality and the level of detail you put into the statue. That's why those sold out. Original ideas that no one knows who they are. I'm sorry, and like I said, that's what pains me about the Queen right now.
Maybe that's why those are so much better, is because they don't have anything to base it off of.
That still doesn't. That for me, that's still not an excuse for Sideshow not to put the same level of quality in each one of their statues. Just because you don't know who they are doesn't mean you shouldn't put the same amount of detail and not even detail, but the same level of quality into it.
I'm just saying. You look at it. You look at like the Court of the Dead. That's their baby. They're going to put more quality.
But that shouldn't matter
because they have freedom to do
that.
But
no, that's the freedom of being able to put, far as anything they want into it. But they should not be able to say just because this is some of the statues aren't their original line does not mean they should sacrifice the quality of some of those statues. Because some look, take the wolf predator bust. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, that goes back. Just because we know who they are does not, or do or don't know who they are, that should not mean they should sacrifice quality because we don't know who they are, or because you got licensing fees to pay. If anything, you want to put more detail into something that we all know because we love something that we know more. Like the Queen, like you said, no one knew who the King was. We know who the Queen is.
Right.
But for me, that's why there should be more. Exactly. Because we know this one better. This one is one of the great honestly.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually agreeing with you.
I know.
I guess I'm just giving excuses for.
You are, and I'm be honest. You are. This is not a lot, but you are. But like I said,
I'm just trying to keep a even.
Not me. Because again, you see all the statues I got.
Oh, I agree.
For me, the fact that the Alien Queen is one of the greatest creatures, even if you don't agree she's the greatest, she's one of the greatest.
I don't know. I think you're right. I think she is.
But not even just that. She's part of one of the greatest movies ever created.
Franchises?
No, I didn't say franchise. No, because no, I didn't. One of the greatest movies ever created in Aliens. There's no reason why the level of quality should not have been on point with this one.
Okay.
Just because we all know who she is does not mean you should sacrifice the quality that should have went into this statue.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not getting upset. I'm passionate. Like, I love the Queen, man, and I just felt like she should have been done better.
Oh, you're right. I agree with you on every aspect.
Right.
Was trying to look at it from both sides of the coin.
Nah, I'm sorry, for $1,100, especially the fact that she's more expensive than him, should have been another reason why the quality should have been better on her.
Okay.
She's more expensive, and if you look, he's actually bigger. Which
wasn't he bigger anyway?
He is. He's bigger anyway in the comics. But my thing is, he's bigger as a statue. There's no reason why he's bigger but cheaper and better quality.
Oh, the statue itself is bigger.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Bigger and heavier.
Exactly. Bigger, heavier. They put a lot more time into this one than something that we all know and love that should have been done a lot better than this. I'm sorry. It's the way I feel. Like I said, I'm not saying this is a piece of shit statue, but it should have been done better.
Okay, I can agree with that. And I think I'm going to agree with you on giving everything to the overall King statue.
It's
not anything that you said. It was just it's just because it's a better statue.
It really is. It's the better statue out of this. And I hate it for that.
The only reason that
I hate the statue, but I hate it that we're saying that the Queen's not better.
Well, I really love the movie accuracy on.
And I agree. Like statue. They did a good job on movie accuracy. They just should have done better on the paint.
Right. There's always these little flaws that kind of fuck
for
up.
$1,100. Fuck that. It should be. I'm sorry. It shouldn't be. I'm sorry.
And there's not really any flaws in this.
Especially when I can pay $450 to $500 for a Court of the Dead statue and their paint is perfect, no flaws, nothing. That's unacceptable.
Oh, I mean, hell, even the little ones.
Exactly. Yeah, we got the little statuettes that I'm going to be reviewing. The little statuettes that are $85 have perfect, well, not except with the exception of Kair, which y'all see the other reviews pretty soon if I haven't already uploaded them.
And maybe Zial.
Yes.
Her feet are kind of fucked up.
But everybody, I'm sorry, the king takes this easily.
Yeah, but that's really not fair because it is such a it's such a fucking bad.
It's not fair. No, it is fair because she should have been done better.
She should have been, but
it's not his fault. It's not the king's fault that they didn't put the time and detail into her as they did with him.
Okay.
That's just plain and simple. The king takes this easily, everybody, for me. What do you say? Winner is king for me.
King for me.
Plain and simple.
Like I said, the only really thing that I enjoyed the most about the Queen statue
is the movie accuracy.
Yeah, I just love, it makes me want to watch the movie again. But everything about the King statue is better.
It's better. Everything. Like there's not one thing not better about the king than the queen. And it pains me to say that.
And it almost really kind of the King statue makes me want to read the comic books.
Tell you, man. All right, everybody. Sorry for our little rant and shit. My rant personally. But we thank y'all for joining us on this comparison video today, man.
$1,100 gives you the
right to
rant,
right.
Rave.
But everybody, so let us know, in your opinion, which one do you think is better, the Alien Queen Maquette or the Alien King Maquette? Let us know in the comment section. But thank y'all for joining us, man. I'm Carolina Hitman.
I'm Anubis.
Thank y'all for joining Cracker Hunters. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.